the things that you want more of in your life, the relationship that you want with your spouse, the body that you want, the money that you want to make, the gifts that you want to give, the charities that you want to support, the trips that you want to take, all those different things. But I want to ask you, is the crowd that you're hanging with right now going to support those dreams and help you get to that next level? Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Champion Life Podcast. I'm your host, Curt Tucker. Today, guys, I'm going to talk about proximity is power. One of the things that I've been thinking a lot about lately as my wife and I have been continuing to build businesses, make new investments, go next level, is the power of proximity. I want you to think about something. You know, when was the last time that a critical relationship happened for you? Something that you can go back and you can say, you know what, it was when that person came into my life that something positive happened. See, Rachel and I, we just got back from an incredible trip where we were in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, a beautiful place for about 9 or 10 days. And as we were there, I was looking at just the people that were all around us, you know, some very high level people who are doing very well in life and in their marriage and in their businesses, all the things that I love to talk about. And one of the things that I realized is, you know what? Proximity is power. I started to begin to kind of think about, and I want you to think about during this episode today, you know, who is it that you either A, get around that makes you want to do life better? Like there is just a standard about that person in the way that they operate that makes you want to do better. Like they literally elevate your thinking, right? They make you want to be a better person, have higher standards, and do things at a different level. And, or maybe if you don't know somebody personally, maybe you listen to somebody, you listen to their podcast, you watch their social media. Hopefully I'm one of those people that do that for you. But as I began to just kind of analyze behavior of certain people, one of the things that I realized was, wow, proximity really is power. Like when you get around certain people, there is just this elevated energy, if you will, that requires you to just level up. Conversations are different. I remember one time there was an illustration where they said that poor people talk about people, okay? Middle-class people will talk about things, and rich and wealthy people will talk about ideas. Now, this isn't a matter of where you're at, but I want to maybe ask you that question for a second is, what does your circle, the people that you hang out with the most, talk about? Is it a circle of gossip? Am I finding myself talking, you know, negatively about things or people or whatever? Or is the circle that I'm with, the people that I'm spending time around with, are they talking about dreams? Are they talking about goals? Are they talking about what they want to accomplish and where they're going and all those different things? See, I can remember early on in my journey of beginning to want to succeed and do life at a higher level in every single area, where one of my mentors said, hey, Curt, listen, you know, you're going to need to change the places, the faces, and the spaces that you hang out with and around. Meaning, listen, if you want to go next level, there's going to be some people that you're going to have to begin to start moving out of your circle, if you will, so that you can go to the next level. And you guys know how I feel about identity. You guys know how I feel the importance of, you know, who you hang out with. There's that saying that you will be the average of the 5 people that you hang out with the most. Those people are continuously feeding, they're really doing 2 things. They're either stealing energy from you or they're giving you energy. And we all know what that looks like, right? Like how many times have you left a particular relationship, a conversation with somebody, and two scenarios happen. One scenario is you're drained, you're like, oh my gosh, how long is that? Have I been in that conversation? Holy cow, that was only 15 minutes, and you just feel exhausted. But we also have left certain relationships or time with people where we spent hours with that person, and 3 hours goes by and you're like, oh my gosh, it seemed like it was 20 minutes, right? And it's because there was an energy, that was being literally, I call it pitching and catching, right? Like there's just something special when you can sit down with a person and you can pitch and catch. And I call it pitching and catching because, if you're a dad and you've ever thrown a baseball with your kids, and in the very beginning when they're learning how to throw and they're learning how to catch, and every other throw back and forth, they throw it into the ground, they throw it over your head, and you got to go run and get it. And if you're throwing, baseball in a neighborhood out on the street, we all know when that ball goes over our head, what happens? It rolls for days. And so you don't really want to do it very long, right? You only do it because it was your kid. But if it was anybody else's kid, you would probably be like, all right, I'm done. So anyhow, there's something about when you can have a conversation with somebody and you can pitch and catch. So today I want to talk about proximity is power. And I want to talk about a couple different ways that you can, if you're in an area or a level of life right now that you're like, man, there's just something more, like I want to go next level, how you can do that. Okay. Last episode, I had my pastor on for an incredible episode. Thank you guys all for that feedback, by the way. And one of the things that Pastor Andy and I do generally on a monthly basis, not only just me going to church and showing up every Sunday and leading a Bible study Wednesday mornings for the men at Victory Church, but him and I once a month will generally get together and we'll do a lifting session. And then we'll go spend an hour together at Bob Evans where we have breakfast, but we're talking about life. We're talking about, the church. We're talking about ideas, about vision, about all those different things. And every time we leave later on that afternoon, one of us will generally text the other and just say, hey, man, it was great hanging with you today. Like, that was awesome. Thank you, depending on what we're talking about. But the point is that proximity is power. When you put yourself around other people that have great energy, that they have vision for their life, that they're excited about where they're going and what God's doing in their life, it just brings the best out of you. So one of the things that I encourage people to do is make sure to get in an environment where you can win. That's why I personally love the church that we're a part of at Victory Church, because there's a lot of people that are winning there. Okay. Now think about it from a business perspective. Like when you join a company or you look to be a part of something, one of the things that I believe is so important is to look and see the fruit of the people. If I go and if I was looking at a church, if I was looking at a new business opportunity that maybe I was going to join, like the one that my wife and I, partnered with LifeWave, I wanted to see, are these people winning? Like, are they not only making financial income, but, are they getting results on the product? What's the morale? Are people excited about what's going on? You want to look at things and say, is that a circle that I can see myself in? When I think about what we do at Champion Builders and pouring into men, as I call the champion life, a life of abundance and freedom and victory. Like if I'm going to live a champion life, I want to make sure that it's a life of abundance and freedom and victory. And whoever I'm surrounding myself with and hanging out with, I want to make sure that that's their vision, that that's their goal as well, that that's where they're wanting to go. Because if that's not what they want, they're not going to be in good alignment. See, one of the things every Wednesday morning that I do at my leadership Bible study is each man at the beginning, we talk about one thing. What is our win for the week? Where are we winning at? And I do that for one reason, because we could all find something to be negative about, to complain about. Why didn't this go that way? My wife said this or that, or, if you're married, we can find anything to complain about. But instead, I want to set the tone. I want to set the culture, if you will, that this is a culture of winning. that we're here to praise God for all the great things that are happening in our life. We're here to give thanks. We're here to vision of what's possible, not to focus on what's not, right? Because I firmly believe Mark 9:23 is one of my favorite verses that says, all things are possible to those who believe. So many times things start with our belief systems, right? And how do we empower our belief system? It's by getting around other people. Sometimes you're going to need to get around somebody that can believe in you until you believe in yourself. And there's power. There's great power in that. I think about events. My wife and I, we just recently joined a very high-level mastermind that we're getting ready to take off on. And one of the reasons why I joined that mastermind was because the leader, Keith Craft, he exemplifies many of the things that I feel like I need right now personally in my life. And this was probably one of the larger investments that we've ever made from a coaching standpoint, but we also understand that once again, proximity is power. When I can get around other people who have what I want, who have done what I want to do, who have literally been there, done that, got the t-shirt and hat, as my wife likes to say, now I know that there's going to be a proven path to success. As I was leaving I was leaving the gym today and I was heading out to coach a client. And I was leaving the Anytime Fitness. It's one of the gyms that I owned for about 7 years. And we recently sold our franchises last year. And, I still have a marketing and a consulting company with Gym Growth Experts where we work with gyms all across the country. My brother handles most of the day-to-day operations in that. But, one of the things that I was thinking about as I was leaving and going to coach a client and I left, my former gym was, man, if I only knew what I knew now 7 years ago when I bought my first franchise gym, and I just begin to start thinking about things, right? And, my wife says this sometimes that, hindsight is what? 2020. Like if we only knew, would we make a different decision? That's the reason why proximity is power, because many times we can get around people. One of the things my wife and I love to do with whether it's men or in marriages is fast track people. Like, if there was something that you wanted to accomplish and you could get there so much faster without all the heartache, all right, would you want to do that? And sometimes people will say, well, I never change a thing. And I believe in wisdom. And I believe there's two forms of wisdom. There's the wisdom that we can, learn from our own mistakes. And then there's the wisdom that we can learn from somebody else's mistakes. And I can tell you in my 43 years and all the successes and the messes that I made, that there is definitely some messes that I made that if I would have been in the right rooms around the right people, I would have never made those mistakes. It would have saved me thousands and thousands of dollars. It would have saved me time, headache, all those different things. So once again, proximity is power, because now when we get around the right people, we begin to start, we can talk about ideas. We can talk about different strategies and tactics and the things that are working and what's not working, right? And so that's one of the major reasons why I've always wanted to be around other people. I've learned a lot in the last 3 years when it comes to investing in crypto, where it's like, holy cow, if I would have only knew what I know now today when I first started in investing, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to go with that right now. But, here's the deal is I want to just share with you that if you look at the current version of yourself, the 2024 version, what do you see for the 2025 version? See, I believe that we all should and we all can upgrade, meaning each year, when you think about your favorite car, when you look at new vehicles, every year they're upgrading. They're getting the latest, greatest technology advances and just, they're being updated. Well, why don't we do that as a human? Why are we not better today, all right, than we were last week, last month, last year? And I believe that it's this, friends, is that, we have kind of isolated ourselves and not been willing to get around other people that are going to require us to go and grow to the next level. Once again, why proximity is power. If you go and begin to start hanging out with people that work out every single day, they eat right, they do things just a little bit different in their health and fitness, and that's something that you want, but that's not something that you do, naturally, if that is your friend group, if that is your peer group, and you wake up and you say, you know what, I'm not really feeling like it today, but you have 3 or 4 people that every day, that's what they do. They work out, and you meet them at that gym to work out. Guess what's going to happen? More than likely, you're going to show up to that gym and you're going to work out. What about being a husband that's trying to grow in his marriage? And next thing you know, for me, here's a personal example of how proximity is power. When Rachel and I were struggling in our marriage years ago, we're coming up on 20 years of marriage. In the first 4 or 5 years of marriage, when we would get into some type of an argument and things just wouldn't be going right, early on, what I would do is I would call, a friend or two that wouldn't be the best influence, and we would meet at a bar, have a couple beers, and talk about our problems, okay? Talk about my marriage problems, right? And guess what would happen? It never made things better. It always made things worse, because now I would come home, I would have a little alcohol in me, and we all know when you have a little alcohol in you, the tongue can fly even that much more. She was upset because I was at a bar, drinking, and so forth and so on, and all it did was make problems worse. Versus when I began to start, developing relationships with other key men in my church, and we would go through something, in our marriage, and I would reach out to one of those guys and we would meet for a cup of coffee, and I would sit down with men that had been married for 20, 30 plus years that, had kids, had businesses. They could really relate to my situation. An hour later would go by and I would leave with such a different perspective on marriage. I would leave out of there not so much worried about what my wife was or was not doing for me, but what I needed to do to step up as a husband, as a leader. And when I would go home, I wouldn't have an attitude. I certainly wouldn't be speaking in a certain way. And it just seemed like every time my wife was way more receptive to me as the leader when I would do that. What was the difference? The difference was proximity. The difference was who I was hanging out with, who I was going to for wisdom and advice. And that was an absolute game changer for me early in our marriage. And so I want to encourage you, whether it's in your fitness, whether it's in your marriage, whether it's in your money situation, in your career, in your business, who you hang around with matters. I want to share something with you that I got coming up, friends. I'm excited about an event that I've got coming up here, talking about proximity is power. On Friday, December 13th and Saturday, December 14th in Dayton, Ohio, we are hosting an event called the Champions Unite. This is an event for men who are wanting to go next level in their life. So as you're listening to this, I want you to think, is this me or is this your spouse? I actually had a wife today who reached out and said, hey, I got my husband signed up. He's super excited to come. And I said, that's incredible. That's awesome. But this event is for men who are saying, I want to level up in 2025. And you may already be doing good right now. And if you're good, I want to remind you that good is the enemy of great. There is another level. Not only is there great, there's world class, right? And this is going to be an incredible event for 2 days where literally we are going to come together with my friend, Dustin Bower, who I have coached and mentored over the last 7 years plus. And I have saw him go from literally struggling, living in a basement, working under the hood, as a welder, 50, 60 hours a week, struggling in all kinds of areas, to now in the last 7 years, just building an incredible life, married to his sweetheart, 6 kids, 5 girls. And absolutely with all that going on, crushing it in business, is building a multi-million-dollar roofing company, investing in real estate, and all kinds of other stuff. And we're literally going to pull back the curtains at this event to literally what it is that we're doing on a daily basis to win in every single area of our life, our faith, our fitness, our family, our finances, and having fun doing it, friends, right? Because, I love what Tony Robbins says, success without fulfillment, it's the ultimate failure. Like success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. If we're doing all these things, but we're not having fun doing it, what's the point? And so at this event, we're going to be talking faith. We're going to be helping guys go next level in their faith, giving them a detailed plan for how to take their business and their finances to the next level, how to get your mindset where it needs to be at. Because friends, can I share something with you? Everything, and I mean everything, comes down to mindset. I love the quote, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And so we're going to be talking mindset, marriage, money, real estate investing, crypto, and all kinds of other things. And one thing that I know is so powerful is that so many times when I've put myself in a room, when I have immersed myself, when I've got away from my day-to-day things, and I've went to real estate conferences, when I've went to marriage things, when I've went to fitness conferences, when I've went to different things, and I've just entrenched myself around other people that want to go next level, I have always left those weekends or whenever they are a better man, more inspired, more encouraged, more knowing that it's possible, and being able to lock arms and build relationships. I firmly believe this, friend. You are one relationship away from your life in your business going to a whole nother level. There is a power in one relationship, one opportunity, one idea can literally put you on a path to absolutely change your life. That relationship for me was Jay Meyer in 2010. Absolutely changed my life. And so anyhow, I'm sure we'll put the link, in the show notes here. Or if you're interested in that, just DM me the word champion and I will get you the information for the event for Friday and Saturday, December 13th and 14th. It's going to be an incredible weekend and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I tell you what, there's going to be some guys that are going to be having some massive breakthrough and going next level. So, hey, I want to remind you of this as we close today, friends. When you think about the life that you want to design, because here's what I believe, that we have the ability to design whatever life we want to live. Just like when you build a house, if you were to go build $1 million house today, okay, what you would first do is begin to start picturing in your mind all the things that you want, right? Is it a ranch on a basement? Is it a 2-story? Does it have a 3-car garage or a 2-car garage? Does it have a back deck? Are we going to have a swimming pool? What's the flooring, the cabinets, all those different things? Friends, that is the way your life works. You have the power right now to begin to start thinking about, okay, the things that you want more of in your life. Okay, the relationship that you want with your spouse, the body that you want, the money that you want to make, the gifts that you want to give, the charities that you want to support, the trips that you want to take, all those different things. But I want to ask you, is the crowd that you're hanging with right now going to support those dreams and help you get to that next level? See, some of us have had goals and dreams and things we want to accomplish for years, and we're not there yet. And I can tell you that if that's you, that if you struggle with that, and I know many people do because many of my clients, have told me this, that I want to encourage you to really think about proximity is power. And who do you need to get around? Do you need to look at a different circle of influence for 2025 and get around some different people? Because if that's you, ladies and gentlemen, I want to encourage you to take a journey with me and my wife, Rachel, in 2025. And one of the best ways that you can do that is by listening to our podcast, tuning into our social media and checking out some of our events. My wife has an incredible mansion mastermind that's coming up in January of 2025 with a select group of women. She's got some programs that she's been doing and announcing with women, helping them in their fitness and in their marriage, and women are just having breakthroughs. And obviously what we're doing with Champion Builders, literally building men to the next level. That is the passion. But I want to remind you, friends, you got to get in the right circle. It has been a game changer for me. It's something that I continue to focus on every single day. Who am I surrounding myself with? Because I know how important that is. So, hey, I want to encourage you. Check out the link. Get registered for Champions United. It's going to be an incredible event. And listen, friends, I want you to know this. I believe in you. Okay, like I said earlier today, friends, sometimes we just need somebody to believe in us until we can believe in ourselves. So whatever that area of your life is, or that thing that you've been doubting in your life, because I know that doubt, just like fear, is used by the enemy to steal, kill, and destroy from us. I want you right now to know that I believe in you, and it's time for you to go next level in 2025. Hey, I love you guys. I'll see you on the next episode, and God bless.